Hello everyone, I'm Rachel and I welcome you all to Executive Corner Expert Talks. Today I'm speaking with Steve Promnitz, Managing Director of Lake Resources. Now Lake Resources is a clean lithium developer utilising direct extraction technology for the development of sustainable high purity lithium from its flagship Kachi project, as well as 3 other lithium brine projects in Argentina. Here at 𝐊𝐴LKINE, we bring you industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock market and help you understand how you can create multiple passive income streams. Welcome to you, Steve.
It's great to be here. Thank you, Rachel.
Good to speak with you today. Now, recently, Lake secured the interest of a leading export credit agency to provide financial support for Kachi. How does export credit agency financing operate? And how does it propel your clean energy project?
Thank you, Rachel. So Lake Resources, as you said, is about producing lithium from a brine, but doing that in a more environmentally friendly way and producing a high purity product. So to develop our project, and we're aiming to be having a financial close this time next year and in production in 2024. To do that, we naturally need project finance. Unfortunately, with lithium, because it's not actively traded on the London Metal Exchange, it's not that easy to actually get the sort of debt finance we're after. So we went down the path of talking to export credit agencies. How they operate is that they will export equipment, supplies, technologies from a particular jurisdiction, and as part of that, they will then provide low-cost loans, a little more than government debt, but at low cost and long term, so that they can be involved in the project. Export credit agencies around the world want to be involved now in this whole energy transition. We were really fortunate that they have provided an indicative offer up to 70% the total finance we need at a long tenor. We're talking 8.5 years at substantially lower cost than traditional finance. So it basically drives the whole project forward. It shows to investors this is happening, and what we're doing with these ESG outcomes is meaningful, tangible, and the sorts of things that the market is looking for.
That sounds fantastic. Now, you mentioned there that this will bring lower cost loans or lower cost of capital. What does that look like, and why do you think they were attracted to your project?
Okay, so a traditional developer in natural resources, energy, would be looking at perhaps getting interest at, say, 15% plus, and that might only be for 3 or 5 years. This sort of loans could be 3%, maybe up to 5% or blended, but over 8 to 10 years. And so that's pretty compelling. And the reason they want to do it, as I said, they want to be involved in this energy transition. We're able to do that like other lithium developers, but we're able to do it with a consistent high quality product that gets a big margin, and at the same time doing that in a more environmentally friendly way. Low carbon footprint, low water usage, low land impact, and a much better social outcome for the communities in these areas. So it's a great vote of confidence on both the quality of the project and the fact where we're going.
Absolutely. And how soon do you plan to execute the production and the expansion of Kachi?
So we're currently working on what's known as a definitive feasibility study and an environmental social impact assessment. That should be ready end of first quarter next year. And then we'll finalise the financing and be ready for financial close around middle of next year, move into construction, aiming for production first half of 2024. That's at 25,000 tonnes per annum. However, the demand is so strong. There's a squeeze going on the market. There's more electric vehicles announced every week. There's more battery plants. There hasn't been that much new lithium production announced. So we're going to be part of that, moving to 25,000 tonnes per annum. But the demand has been strong. The project finance is there. So we're moving to an expansion case of 50,000 tonnes per annum. Now, 50,000 tonnes per annum of a high purity product with an ESG benefit, that'll be quite unique in the world and will become one of the top 4 producers. Pretty impressive.
That's extremely impressive, Steve. Now, could you shed some light on the technical and commercial attractiveness of the Kachi project and some of the results from the studies?
So the The pre-feasibility study, which we refreshed at the start of this year, shows 25,000 tonnes per annum. That's about 8% of the current market. And that would deliver a $260 million US annually EBITDA line, or operating cash flow. With that debt financing, we're probably looking at free cash flow somewhere getting close to 200 million a year after the first 12 months. Now that's pretty remarkable for what is basically an industrial product. And remember, we don't do any mining here. All we do is just process water, take the lithium out and return that water back to its source, which is why it has this ESG benefit. And so our operating cash flow is about half of our total capex, quite remarkable. Then if we look at an expanded case, we haven't released those numbers yet, but if I could just simply say that they're pretty compelling, our operating costs would come down even further. They're down in the bottom quartile at the moment. They could get even lower. And it's that financial robustness together with those ESG outcomes that make this project quite compelling, both from a financial perspective and also from an electric vehicle maker and a partnering perspective. They want to see those ESG benefits.
And we touched on it earlier, but how is Kachi contributing to the UN Sustainable Development Goals? And do you see any competitive advantage through its environmental, social and governance practices?
So from a pricing perspective on the product, what we're doing, so far that's not flowing through. But we do sort of get picked out in a beauty parade because these UN SDG goals, they're our targets, and we're going to meet those and probably go further. We're certainly going to meet the Equator Principles for this project, but we look to go even further because what we can bring to this whole lithium supply versus other lithium brine producers is order of magnitude improvements in reduced water, lower CO2 footprint, reduced land impact. And we'll look at then greenhouse gases where because we're going to be using a solar PV farm, we've then got predominantly renewable energy. We'll have more to say about that over the coming 6 months because we're finalising a sustainability study as well as details so that we can provide both to the project financiers as part of their due diligence and then ESG investors that no, we're not a mining company. Yes, we are in the battery material supply chain, but this is truly a genuine ESG project. It's not just some greenwashing.
Right, and Kachi has a large indicated and inferred resource. Can you shed some more light on the work that is underway at present and what you expect from that?
So in 2018, we defined a large resource. To give you an idea of that large resource, we only used 20% out of 25 years of production. With this expansion case, we have drill rigs back on site just to upgrade some of that so that we can put it into the reserve category, and we'll probably expand it at the same time. But one of the great things about lithium, direct lithium extraction, is because you're being more efficient, because you're taking all the lithium out virtually, you actually don't even need a large resource. The great thing is this resource, we can expand it laterally at depth. We basically own the entire basin under leases. So that's also pretty unique.
And with lithium supply shortfall anticipated from 2022 and the electric vehicle revolution picking up speed, how do you see Lake making a mark in the industry in the future, and what plans do you have for expansion?
Well, you'd almost have to be living under a rock not to see every week more electric vehicles from various different automakers, more battery plants being announced. We saw this calendar year with the Biden administration a very strong driver to see more electric vehicles and that energy transition in the US. We've seen that now last year with the European Union as they put incentives towards it. What we deliver is basically a better quality product that is very high quality. Battery makers need that to avoid performance issues. We can scale up, and not many new producers actually have that flexibility to actually scale up and be quite meaningful both now and in the future. And then last of all, having low carbon footprint, low water footprint, low land footprint, better social outcomes. These are the sorts of things that consumers of electric vehicle makers and therefore electric vehicle makers want to be able to deliver. We're not going to just repeat what happened with fossil fuels. We're going to do it better this time around. That's why our share price has improved a lot, and that's why all of the companies that are involved in direct lithium extraction have improved substantially. So watch this space. There's a lot of news over the next 12 months. We've got a lot to do. Thankfully, we've got a great team on the ground, and I think the market will be impressed with all the various parties that we're working with. UK Export Finance was an example of the sort of quality partnerships that we're developing. Thank you.
That's fabulous. It's an absolute, very fast-moving space to be in, and an interesting one to keep our eyes on. Thank you so much for your time today, Steve.
No, thank you, Rachel. It's always a pleasure. Cheers for now.
Thank you very much. And with that, I will sign off for today, but watch this space for more. Till then, stay apprised and invest wise with 𝐾𝐿.